Hi, my name is Nelson, and this is the Sir Nelson Online English. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to write an essay. What's an essay? I cannot answer that in one sentence, but I can assure you at the end of today's lesson, you will know what an essay is. Let us begin with the parts of an essay. An essay is a piece of writing with three parts. What are the three parts? The introduction, the body, and the general conclusion. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to write each one of these. We shall begin with the introduction, then we shall go to the body, and finally, we shall learn how to write the general conclusion. Parts of the introduction. When you are writing the introduction, what do you need and what do you do? Number one, general statement about the topic. The first part of the introduction is called the general statement. The topic is smoking should be stopped. Before you write an essay, there has to be a topic of discussion. The topic that we are going to use is smoking should be stopped. So to begin our introduction, we shall give a general statement. How does it look like? I'll show you an example. On this page, we have 4 examples of general statements. These are so general that it is helpful for you to memorize them. Whenever you are given a topic, they will be very helpful. Number 1, there is a general discussion on the issue of what is the issue. Every topic has an issue. In the topic, smoking should be stopped. The issue is smoking. The topic is smoking. So, number 1, there is a general discussion on the issue of smoking. Number 2, there is a public debate about the issue of smoking. Number 3, there is a public controversy over the issue of smoking. Number 4, with the development of society, people's ideas about smoking have changed dramatically. The only thing that it changed is the issue of discussion. You are going to memorize all this. It is not difficult. If you follow my advice in this video, at the end of the lesson, most of these sentences and phrases will be memorized. Example. There is a general discussion about the issue of smoking. Let us change the topic. What are the advantages and the disadvantages of education? In this topic, the issue is education. So we are going to go back to our examples of general statements and we write them down. Now, pause the video, start typing the 4 sentences, these ones, 4. Type them, but remember the topic is not smoking, the topic is education. The issue is education. Remember, practice makes perfect. Pause the video, go to your WhatsApp group and start typing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, smoking should be stopped. Discuss. This is our point. Let us leave education and go back to our topic. Smoking should be stopped. discuss. Our topic has two sides. An essay usually has two sides. A debate usually has two sides. In our topic, the first side is should be stopped. The second side is shouldn't be stopped. Who says that? Some people, many people. So some people say smoking should be stopped. Others say smoking shouldn't be stopped. Human beings cannot agree on everything. There are very many things where we don't agree. So some people like smoking, others don't. So it is a point of discussion. Synonyms. What are synonyms? Whenever you see the word synonyms, remember my words. Different words, same meaning. Different words, same meaning. A synonym is synonyms are different words with the same meaning. So let us look at the synonyms of the word sides. Opinions, perspectives, viewpoints, points of view, and arguments. So our topic has two opinions, two perspectives, two viewpoints. The first viewpoint is should be stopped. The second one is shouldn't be stopped. So whenever you are given a topic, you have to look for the perspectives. What are the opinions in the topic? Now, remember, we are learning how to write an introduction. When you are writing an introduction, you begin with a general statement. After the general statement, you go to the first side. Remember, a topic of writing an essay has two sides. So you begin with the first side and you write these phrases. Some people say that smoking should be, remember the first perspective is should be. So some people say that smoking should be stopped. However, you don't have to begin with some people all the time. You can begin with it. It's said that, be careful. When you begin a sentence with it is, you have to change the verb to the past participle. It is said. But when you say some people say, don't say some people say it. Some people say it is said. Number two, some people think that it is thought that. Some people believe that it's believed that. Some people claim that it's claimed that. So we are going to practice how to use the active and passive voice. Say, say, think, thought, believe, believe, claim, claim. When you use the past participle, you begin a sentence with it. Example, 1A. Some people say that smoking should be stopped. B, it is said that smoking should be stopped. So the first, in part A, we are using say. In part B, we are using said. I have done say and said for you. You are going to practice 2, 3, and 4. Remember, you cannot remember what you have not written down. When you write down something, you learn the spelling, the pronunciation, and your brain will be able to remember these sentences. Pause the video, go to the WhatsApp group, and start typing your sentences. 2A, B, 3A, B, 4A, B. Remember, I have done number 1 for you. Say and say. So when you are typing, don't use say and say, use think, believe, and claim. Okay, we have another set of verbs: assert, argue, contend, suggest. These are the same as the first ones: say, believe, claim, think. You can also use. So I have given you 8 verbs. which can be used interchangeably. 5A, some people assert that B begin with it. So in this exercise, I have done A for you, do letter B. Pause the video, go to your WhatsApp group and start typing the answers there. I'll come and check your work. Contrasting phrases. Before you go to the second side, you put what we call the contrasting phrases. Remember, we are learning how to write an introduction. An introduction begins with a general statement. After the general statement, you go to the first side. After the first side, you go to the contrasting phrases. These phrases connect the first opinion to the second opinion. Number one. But on the other hand, number two. However, on the other side, number three. Nevertheless, on the contrary, number four. Whereas, number five. Nonetheless, on the other side, number six. While. These words or phrases connect the first side to the second side. Now we go to the second side, second perspective, second viewpoint. Remember, these are synonyms. Number 1A. Others say that. B. It is said that. Remember, the first one we are saying some people. But the second, you say others, or you can begin with it, and you use the verb, you change the verb to the past participle. For example, there is a general discussion on the issue of smoking. That is the general statement. Some people say that smoking should be stopped. First side. However, on the other hand, the contrasting phrase, others claim that smoking should not be stopped. The first side should be, the second side should not be. Now we have our first part of the introduction. Let us practice. Don't use my example. I have given you very many examples of general statements. You have very many verbs. You have other contrasting phrases. So I want you to practice. Don't repeat a verb. You are going to write 2 introductions, 1 and 2. Keep changing the words such that you can practice. Pause the video, go to the WhatsApp group, and send the 2 paragraphs. This is a lot of work, but take your time, type and send. That is enough practice for your brain to memorize this. Remember, look at my example and follow the full stops, the capital letters, the commas, all those ones should be there. Pause the video, go to the WhatsApp group and send 2 paragraphs of your introduction. Okay. Other ways of saying some people. So you don't have to say some people all the time. Sometimes you can change and say most people, many people, a lot of people, numerous people, various people, a sizable percentage of people, a majority of people. You don't have to say some people all the time. You can use many of these other ways. These are other ways. They are not synonyms because they have different meanings, but there are other ways of saying some people. Some mean 50%. But we can have a few most. Example, there is a general discussion on the issue of smoking, general statement. Some people say that smoking should be stopped. However, on the other hand, others claim that it should not be stopped. I want you to be careful with the full stops and comma. Learn to punctuate your work. Practice. Don't use some and others. There are many other ways of saying some or others. You can also begin with it. Again, you are going to type 2 paragraphs. It is a lot of typing, a lot of working, but that is how they learn. If you do it well, you'll be able to remember this, this organization of your introduction. Remember, we are still learning how to write the introduction. Pause the video, go to the WhatsApp group and write 2 paragraphs using different words. Remember, I have given you very many words. So you can choose only 2 and start typing. I'm waiting for your work to guide you, to check, and to show you the right way of doing things. Remember, we are learning how to write an essay. We began with the introduction. The next part of the introduction is respect both opinions. You should respect people you agree with and those ones you don't agree with. Some people like smoking, others don't. But when you're writing an essay, you respect the opinions of other people, the ideas of other people. So in your introduction, it is good for you to learn how to express yourself when you are respecting others. Number 1, both opinions have strong reasons. Those ones who say smoking is good and those ones who say smoking is bad. They all have strong reasons. Number 2, both sides are reasonable. Sides is the same as opinions plus other words. You can keep changing that. Number 3, both sides have sound arguments. Number 4, views on this issue vary from person to person. Number 5, it's quite natural for different people to have different views. You are going to memorize these sentences. How? By writing. When you write these sentences, you will be able to memorize them and remember all of them. Take your time, type. If you are tired, you can pause the video, but make sure you watch the video and type all these paragraphs. Take your time. It is the only way you have to memorize this. We shall learn other ways, but this is the basics and it is very, very helpful. We are going to practice. I'm going to show you what to do. 6, this issue is so controversial that people can hardly reach an agreement or consensus. Number 7, both sides are supported by good reasons. Number 8, admittedly, there are advantages and disadvantages on both sides. I have given you 8 different sentences that you can use to show that you respect the ideas of other people. Those you agree with and those you don't agree with. Now, to memorize, to remember this, you have to put them into writing and also speaking. Example. There is a general discussion on the issue of smoking, general statement. Some people say that smoking should be banned. However, others say that it should not be abolished. Both sides have strong reasons. I want you to see that now I have changed something. I don't use the word stopped. The word stopped has synonyms. You can use the word banned, you can use the word abolished, you can use the word stopped. They are all synonyms. It is good not to use the same words all the time. So if you don't know any other word, any other synonym of the word stopped, these are the words. Banned, abolished. I want you to mind the spelling. We are going to practice. Both sides have strong reasons. This is my example. I have given you 8 sentences, so you don't have to repeat that. You are going to write only 2 paragraphs. Each time you write a paragraph, change something. You have very many phrases, keep changing them. If you do that, you'll be able to memorize them and your English, your writing will improve a lot. Pause the video, go to your WhatsApp group and start typing the introduction up to where we are. Remember, the last part, the last sentence so far is when you respect both opinions. I want you to practice, pick at least 2 other ways that you find interesting. The next part of the introduction is give your opinion. We have been talking about the opinions of other people. Some people say, others say. What about you? We need to hear from you. So in the introduction, you can give us your opinion. You can say, number one, in my opinion, I agree with the first point of view. Remember, our topic has 2 points of view, 2 sides. Should, should not. So you can tell us you agree with what? The first or the second. If you like smoking, you say should not. If you hate it, it should be stopped. So what is your opinion? You tell us. You agree with which people? The ones who say should or shouldn't. Number one, this is how you write it in academic English in your essay. You begin with the phrase, in my opinion. That one will clearly show that this is your side. In my opinion, I agree with the first point of view. Number two, as far as I'm concerned, I agree with the first point of view. Number three, as for me, I agree with the first point of view. Number four, as I see it, I agree with the first point of view. Number five, in my part, I agree with the first point of view. Remember, it depends on you. You don't have to agree with the first point of view all the time. You can also agree with the second point of view. It depends on you. This is why we say, in my opinion, as for me. So I want you to memorize these phrases. The only way to memorize them is to get a pen and write down something, or you type. 6, for my part, I agree with the first point of view. In my point of view, I agree with the first opinion. From my perspective, I agree with the first point of view. I have given you very many options. So you can keep changing them until you are able to memorize, to remember most of them. Example, there is a general discussion on the issue of smoking. That is the general statement. Some people say that smoking should be stopped, the first side. However, others claim, however, on the other hand, the contrasting phrase, others claim that it should not be abolished. Both sides have strong reasons. You respect the 2 opinions. In my opinion, I agree with the first side. That is one way. I've given you other ways. Now let us practice. You're going to pick 2 phrases that you prefer, and then you write your introduction again. Follow the example and you write 2 introductions changing the words. Pause the video, go to the WhatsApp group, and start typing the 2 paragraphs, not a sentence, paragraphs. This is a lot of work, but if you do it, you will be able to see a change in your English, and you will be able to remember these phrases well. Next part, synonyms of agree. You don't have to say agree all the time. I agree with. I want you to see that agree goes with the preposition with. You can also say I'm for, I'm in favor of, I side with, I share. I want you to see that I share doesn't have a preposition. I consent to, I approve of. Be careful with the preposition. If you keep practicing, it will become easy for you. So you don't have to say I agree all the time. You can change and use I'm for, I'm in favor, I side, I share, I consent, I approve of. You don't have to agree all the time. You can also disagree. When you disagree with an opinion, you can use this language. I disagree with, I am against, I am opposed to, I object to, I disapprove of the first opinion. I'm not in favor of the second opinion. Use this kind of language. Example, our introduction is growing longer. There is a general discussion on the issue of smoking, general statement. Some people say that smoking should be stopped, should be abolished, the first side. However, on the other hand, others claim that it shouldn't be stopped, the second side, and the contrasting phrase. Both sides have good reasons. You respect the other side. In my opinion, I side with the first side. You give your opinion, you agree. In my opinion, I side. You don't have to use agree all the time. And I am against the second perspective. I want us to learn the language of agree and disagree, the synonyms. Like we have been doing, you are going to write the introduction again. This time adding our next part, our last part. This will help you remember and improve your writing skills. Write 2 paragraphs when you are changing the sentences and phrases, because I have given you very many of them. Those are very many paragraphs, but if you are hardworking enough, it will pay. At the end of today, you'll be able to write a very good introduction. Synonyms. You don't have to say the first side. The synonym of the first side is the former side. 2A, the second opinion. You can say the second opinion or the latter. I agree with the former, I disagree with the latter. Also, you should also learn that kind of language. You don't have to use first, second, first, second. You can also use former and latter. Our last part of our introduction is to connect. You connect the introduction to the body. This is our last part. Number 1, the reasons are presented below. The reasons are discussed below. Number 3, I support this with the following reasons. There are many reasons supporting my view. This sentence connects the introduction to the body. Of course, later on, we are going to learn how to write the body. Example, there is a general discussion on the issue of smoking. Some people say that smoking should be regulated. Now I'm changing, regulated, stopped, abolished. However, others claim that it should not be abolished. Both sides have strong reasons. In my opinion, I agree with the former view, and I am against the second idea. The reasons are presented below. I have given you other sentences, so now let us practice. This is our introduction, the complete one. So when you're writing an essay, you begin with the introduction. Now this is a complete introduction, but our introduction has different parts which I have shown you. Practice. Smoking should be stopped. Write 2 different introductions. That is what we call the introduction. In the next video, I'll show you how to write the body. See you next time. Bye-bye.